Welcome back to 50 and Fine, the podcast where grown folks get real about love, life, and everything in between. Today's episode is not for the faint of heart. We are diving headfirst into the raw, the real, and the oftentimes unspoken truths about love, intimacy, and sex over 50. So we've had an episode before about sex and intimacy, but today the twist is I have one of us who is married, one of us who is single, and one of us who is separated pre-divorce. So to have those three perspectives and to see how it impacts how we see love, how we experience intimacy, what we fear, what we crave, and what we're no longer tolerating is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Today, I have with me joining the two powerhouse creatives behind some of the dopest events and storytelling platforms in the game. Lateefa Mosley
Yes.
and Thomas Blake. These fearless founders and executive producers are behind LoveFestATL, which is coming up this coming weekend. This will not air before that, but people on the live view will see that. So make sure you come out, LoveFestATL. And they're also behind the amazing Blake Vision Entertainment, which I believe they're cultural architects for shifting the way we view entertainment, the way we see entertainment. Thank you guys for joining today.
Thank you so much. Be here.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. I have worked with Lateefa and Blake in the past in some of their plays and shows they've put on. This is my first time doing an event with them. I will be doing a workshop on sex and intimacy at LoveFestATL this weekend. So make sure you're in the building. But I'm excited about that, doing that with you guys. This is going to be so awesome. This conversation is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
It's going to be everything. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's get into this.
What has surprised you most about your own needs for love and intimacy that have changed over time?
So I think when I was younger, it was just about having somebody. You know what I mean? I just wanted to have somebody just to have it.
To have them.
You know? Now, as I get older and I begin to love myself and actually understand myself, I realize that I don't need the person, but I still want the person. But I understand that I need to love myself in a way that matters, right? Because sometimes you just want to have people around you and not really understand why these people are around you. Like, why do I have this significant person with me? Is it just because I want them, or is it because like I truly love them?
Right.
And so I think that's like been the new thing for me. Like, look, I'm really looking for someone who loves me all over, who understands like who I am as a person. Yeah, as a person, like me. You know what I mean? Where I can like take the wig off, take the shoes off, take everything off, and he still is like,
everything's okay.
Yeah, you fine. I still want you. And it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I also want to be able to love myself that way too. Because sometimes that's not always possible.
Right. Or sometimes people don't do it or don't realize they're not doing it either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that I've learned to love myself more, because that was one thing. And then to also understand what it is that I'm looking for in a partner.
That's key.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we don't know what we're looking for, and a lot of people don't know what they're looking for. So they're out there just searching blindly just to have someone.
Just have someone.
You don't know what you need to complement your life, then why are you searching?
And that's true. And that's what I was doing. Like, I was just saying, oh yeah, I have somebody, not really understanding that, wait a minute, what does having somebody really mean?
Yeah.
You know? And so I think that's kind of like where I was messing up at. In Boston.
Oh, we all have. No, let's be very clear. Don't act like you haven't. We all have.
Lord, you know.
Yeah. What about you, Blake? Especially, I would love to hear your perspective, because this would be in the institution of marriage, and you know, we still evolve and grow. How has that changed for you, and what conversations did you have with your spouse over it?
When it comes to just the raw factor of intimacy, I think it falls more so into habits and ideas and things change. You start out one way, but you don't necessarily end up down that same road where you started, or your wants and your dislikes begin to favor the same line sometimes, and you're trying to figure it out. And so I think the number one thing boils down to communication. If you don't communicate, I think that's the key to understanding. And if you lose that, then it's it's a heavy weight as well as a hard hill to climb when you're trying to identify what is communication too. Because communication, it can make you or break you. I guess that's the safest way to say that, communication. Because without it, neither party really knows which way they really want to go.
There you go.
You get caught up in that. And we all are human. We all have our own ideas about what we see or what our imagination is, or our interpretation of what something should look like. But I was always told, before I got married, I was told that you walk in a situation with two eyes, but cover up one, because you're gonna have to look through that lens with someone else. You can't just look through that lens by yourself.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
So and understanding that, but what they don't tell you is that you still have to identify that person's feelings, not just look. Look is one thing. The perception is one thing, but their feelings is a lot more deeper. So when you start to see where that lies and where the challenge lies in, with the challenge of being together for several seasons, and you get to know a person, you say, damn, not sure. Sometimes you question. I think we all question ourselves too. Did I make the right move or what? But it's one of them things that you have to either fight through it, or you have to come to an understanding. Simple.
Yeah. I agree with you on that communication. I think communication is key, because when you're in long-term relationships, you don't stop evolving. You don't stop learning and growing. So you're going to have conversations often about what you've learned or what has changed. And I want to say that when you're in longer relationships, or in any relationship, we have to approach conversations without fear, because sometimes we don't discuss things out of fear. And we'll get into that, because I think I have one question about that, but definitely.
I think communication is important, right? And so now, as I'm in my older years of dating, it's about communicating, asking all the right questions, because I wasn't asking them earlier. So now it's like, are you looking for marriage? It doesn't mean that we need to be getting married today, but is that something that's on your mind that you want to do, right? Because I never asked that question earlier, asking the questions like, do you want to have children or do you not want to have children? I have my daughter young. I didn't ask if I want to have a child. I just had a child and had no, I just did it. You know what I mean? So the questions are now different from back then to now. Communication wise, and even understanding to be communicative in this new beginning of the relationship, because I want long term.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it's like being in a long term relationship, having communication, throughout the whole time. But in the dating world of communication, you're
communicating your needs up front.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Versus when we were younger, in our 20s and 30s, you may not have been. We're flying by the seat of our pants.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And so we encourage young 20, 30-year-olds, do not fly by the seat of your pants. Ask the questions now.
Yeah. But then it's like, do you know those questions, right?
But you don't know if you don't know yourself.
Yeah.
So know yourself first.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing of learning yourself. You know what I mean? Because now, but when do you really know yourself?
That's an ever evolving thing. So it's going to, you're still learning yourself now.
Yeah.
And in 10 years, you're going to be learning something different about yourself. So that doesn't stop. But I don't think when we're young people, we are intentionally trying to learn ourselves. We are just living life and not really giving that enough energy. So I think if I was younger in my 20s and someone told me to just explore me more first and don't worry about it. And it's so hard to tell young people that, but.
Because I mean, look, I told the story when I met my baby father, I thought I was in love. Like the world stopped. So you couldn't no one tell me nothing. Like,
and see, that's the thing.
You know what I mean? They be like, nah, like, the whole world paused. It was just me and him. Mm-hmm. And that's all that I saw. And we was in love.
You probably were for that moment. You probably were.
I tell people to this day, like, it was 100 people when I saw him. We locked eyes, and I was like.
But sometimes that's real too. Yeah. Let's not discount that. That is very real. But what happens is we have to delve into, okay, when we're talking about long term, okay, do you have this quality? Do you have that quality? Right. Do you want this thing that I want in my life? Or do you want this thing? And do they align? Because the thing you're talking about is real. Don't discount that. I need that. I need that. However, I have to manage that feeling and that experience and that energy exchange with the realism of this is what I need in my life. How do you operate in these ways? How do you communicate? Right. How do you argue? You know what I mean? You got to ask all of those questions. Yeah.
The butterflies, right?
Yeah. Oh, right.
I used to think when I had butterflies, like that was the thing, a good thing. Now I realize, like, no, that's like, get out. Like, I
need that.
Because like if you got the butterflies, it's like something's wrong. You know what I mean?
So that's been your experience.
So I think that it should be calm, cool, collective when you meet that person, and all is good. Like it's no butterflies, and that's the one that you'll end up being with. The one with the butterflies is the one that's gonna give you the trouble.
I disagree with Lateefa. I need the butterflies. I need the energy. But I'm very, very intentional about, okay, we have that. We have that chemistry. We have that passion right off the bat. Okay, now what do we have? Before we even start dating, I need to feel that energy immediately with a person. And then we can talk about, okay, where do you see yourself? What's your goal in life? Then we ask all those questions. And then that whole passion thing means nothing if they don't meet all the other things. So that makes sense. I don't know. Just me, I'm an energy person, so I have to have it.
Look,
she said, look, no.
I'm tired of asking all them questions. I'm talking, I'll be tired.
Have you ever felt guilty about wanting more? Like more time, more affection, more sex, or even wanting less, especially in a marriage?
Yeah, let him go first. I'm gonna think on
that. I can attack that both ways. I think you go through a point where you do want all of that person, but it's two people, and sometimes you can continue to give and you can continue to give. And, as men, we don't like rejection. So anytime that there's, when that process come into play, I think it pushes men into a space where they don't know how to return. And it's not something that women can truly do anything about, because I think it's just, and you guys may beat me up in here for saying, I think it's their nature where, when women pull back, and I'm saying this from both sides, because with being in a marriage, you see it where it's the honeymoon stages and everything's good and everything's great, and then it's the career side of it. I've been in marriage 20 years, so you see the career side of it, and it's I'm focused here and I'm focused there, and that's for both parties, not just one sided. But then there's the family side of it. The kid sets in, and they're pulled back, and do I still have it? I think both parties starts to second guess themselves, especially when you start to get into that late 30s, early 40s. You want to figure out if you still that person, or am I still attractive enough to be able to attract? So can your person give you that and put that on you? It's hard. It's very hard for a man to be able to be all three. The lover, the provider, and the security blanket.
I've heard that all at the same time.
It's hard. Very hard. Yeah. It's very hard, because
you should be able to do it.
That's easy. It's easier said than done, I think. And the best way to describe it is you're going to get one or the other. Well, you're going to get two out of the three. Not going to say you'll get one or the other. You'll get two out of the three.
You mean at one given time?
Yes, the best. You're going to get two out of the three. And that's because if that man is truly a provider and got to go get it, he's not giving you the time that you truly want.
So Lateefa just said you should be able to do all, but it brings up the question, do we not as women understand that enough and just respect that that's what it is?
Like you said, it's communication, right? It's the balance of it. Like right now I'm focused on career. And so this is what's going to be happening. But I want you to know, like, we're still here. We're still on the same page, but this is what's happening. I think sometimes if it's not being communicated, then that's what it is.
At that point, she could say, okay, yeah, you're giving this and this, but let's switch. I need this and this.
Right.
If you can only give me 2 at any given time right now, okay, let's focus on these.
Right. I think it's communication.
Because it's a trifecta, I think it's a great way to look at it. And at any given time, a woman can get 2 out of the 3. But the one she desires the most is the one that she's going to ridicule or demonize the man for, in most part, for the one that she can't have.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time. It's no matter how we can't get around it. Yeah, sad, right? Yeah, sad but
I just said,
yeah.
I didn't agree, okay. Blake. I just said,
So you caught up in a, you caught up in a damn if I do, damn if I don't. But you do your best to please. I noticed something, and in my marriage, and I have to say that, and I heard this from an older gentleman. He says, "Man, you can tell when a marriage is strong." He says, "You can tell by the smile on a woman's face."
I believe that.
Yeah, and I was like, "Damn."
But then sometimes you can't because they are good at smiling while there's people around because they are trying to show that we're still good, but at home she's like, no, nigga, you done messed up. So
to keep that white picket fence.
Yes, yeah.
To keep like everything is good.
Okay, what about you? What do you think?
So, far as the guilty, right? So this for me in dating and relationship, if the guy is fulfilling my love language, because one of the biggest issues that I have is I'm career driven. And so I stay always busy. Working and that does take time. But if a guy is fulfilling my love languages, then I want to give him sex. Like I want to be able to please him and do all that because he's giving me something. So like I want to go ahead and give it. But if he's not doing those things, then I feel cheated and I don't want to give you anything. Like this, like I don't want no, because I don't feel whatever you might be giving to me. So that's that's kind of like for me how it works in a sense, because then I feel like, oh man, he's fulfilling this. I feel good about this. And I want to, what can I do to please him? Because he's also, in return, pleasing him back.
Well, I will speak just from previous experience with my husband. There has been times where I think I have felt guilty, probably for wanting less. And it's probably in our early 30s. Men and women's sex drive is different at different ages. I think men are not peaking. Maybe they are in their 20s and 30s, right? I don't think women are, I think that's when we are probably building, raising children. So our libido might be a little bit different. So I have felt guilty at times by really not being interested or engaged, not because he was doing anything wrong or anything, just dude, I don't feel like it. You know what I mean?
Because you're tired.
Yeah.
You got busy, you got all the different things. So
but it still made me feel a little guilty. Yeah. So I have felt that before.
To say the exact same thing, life gets in the way, but you're still someone's wife. You're still someone's husband. And the thing that made you guys and why you exist, why the family exists, it was the love. It was the
to that point.
So when you pull back, he walks in and he's not feeling.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally get what you're saying.
That love, that feeling. So that's when the disconnect happens.
It is definitely a disconnect, and part of the disconnect is also, I don't think women. I had this conversation with someone else. I think it was on the podcast. We're not just poof ready. The mental does the work for you. So if I am drained or mentally exhausted, something has to give to bring me into that space, because it is not, men are a little bit more physical. They don't take much, for them to be ready or to be aroused. I think it takes women a whole lot more. And we have to unpack or unload some of that stuff in order to mentally get in a place where our body is ready to receive.
And who's responsible for the unload?
All of us, both parties.
He's there to assist and help in unloading that,
absolutely,
right?
yeah. Right. As a couple, yeah.
Yes, and so in saying that, how do you see yourself in terms of what it looks like when you say, okay, now I know the truth. Now I know whatever it is that I was doing differently. But in moving forward, what's the change? Because if there's a good answer to that, then I think that the divorce rates will be going down. But
it is. And yeah, it probably would. But it starts with communication, but it starts with understanding our differences, respecting our differences, that you can be ready at any given moment. I can't. This is just this in particular, this thing in particular. So help me get ready throughout the day. If when you come home, you ready for it. Take a little bit of the load off somewhere. Tell me things mentally, text me and help me get into the space. And I will maybe be able to text you back like, oh, you making it easy for me or whatever. I don't know all of the answers, but I know that could be part of it, that we have to, first of all, respect that difference and then create different pathways and avenues for us to both get to that place where we're receiving what we both want and need.
Okay. So in saying your wants and what he should be doing, is it reciprocated? Is he getting that same call or that same text, that same motivation, that same wake up? You the man, you the shit. That same,
it should
be. All I'm saying, because when you ask and say what he should be doing, is it reciprocated? Because that same motivation and that same drive and that same push, man, takes him to the next level as well.
So
if he's not getting it.
Right. I agree with you. However, we were talking about the fact that women need that to get into the space. So if he needs that, that's a conversation. Okay, now I'm going to start implementing that into our conversations in our daily life.
As a man, I think we always needed it. We was brought up to be tough and shit. And
so that's where we got to stop that stuff.
Right. So when do you begin to break down your sensitivity and say, hey, shit, I like certain things that I don't know how to say this because shit, I'm surrounded by alpha dudes, all my uncles and shit. Even if I said I want a woman to touch me a certain way or say this a certain way, niggas be looking at, no, that's not what we do around here, partner. And this is just raw conversation, because you grow up around.
I know, Blake, and that's the problem for me or to me, because I feel like we need to normalize men actually speaking to each other about their needs. If they're not able to speak it with other men, then how are they know? You know what I mean? Like, something has to change there. You have something to say. I see you saying something.
What I'm saying is, if it can't be done with the man, then that's what the safe space is with the significant other is, right? Well, that's kind of like what you're trying to say. Like,
yes, I mean
if the significant other,
because she holds that secret, she holds that safe space that nobody
whatever that is,
that language is, whatever that language is, because we're talking about love language. So if that's one of his language and she understands that
he needs affection or whatever, then she should be pouring just as
into
much
that, which triggers him to make sure that he does his job.
Right.
Goes both ways.
And I think that's the communication, right? Where he's talking to her and being able to be vulnerable with her.
Well, yeah, when we're speaking of it, my thing is, I guess I just want to be fair that I think, because I'm looking at the long term and I'm looking at the way your introduction was in terms of having the ability to be able to speak across the board, being married, understanding that there is a separation or a disconnect if both parties are not equally yoked in understanding each other's love language.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
There's a very disconnect there.
Yeah.
And it could, you could be soul tied. You could be soul mates. You could be friends. You could be, you could be lovers to a certain extent because of a language is a language that, that drove you guys together. But the moment that whatever that was starts to descend, disappear, transform, however which way you see it, metaphor into something new or better or worse. I mean, because, things happen. But what makes that person disconnect from whatever it was that started in the beginning?
Yeah.
So, I think we have to keep coming to the table. We have to keep coming to the table when those things change or when those obstacles or issues come up, coming to the table. Hey, I've been feeling like this. What can we do about it? You know what I mean? I believe it's communication. Come to the table. Maybe we need to do, and I've said this before, we need to do check-ins when we're in relationships.
Yeah.
We need to do check-ins. Maybe it's weekly. I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's a great punchline.
How you feeling this week?
Right.
Do I need to do something different? Do you need something more from me?
Right.
I need this from you.
That's why they say you should be dating still. And
absolutely. But I don't even know if that's part of the dating. It should be in your dating, but it is definitely just check-ins, because when you're in long-term relationships, you have all of the things in life that
gets in
the way. So we need to check in every week. Okay, I know I've been busy doing this. I know the children have been draining on you. Where are we? What do you need?
Right, that's good.
What do I need? We need to do check-ins. But I also want to say, I encourage men to create more of community where it is normalized to be able to discuss what they're feeling or what they need, what's not necessarily directly what's going on in their relationships, but a safe space where they can talk amongst each other about what's going on without being, without having this macho thing or the ridicule, or it's got to be some kind of safe space. I don't know. It hasn't happened.
It's the gym. Could it be the gym? Could it be the sauna? Could it be at the pool, the hot tub?
And I don't know if it's even possible, because we're talking, this is centuries where, this persona has gone on, but I think it would do all of us well if men would commune with each other in that way a little bit more.
Well, I agree. I think the generational gap was birthed in the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, when the crack law came into place, and it separated so many men from their fathers, their uncles, their brothers, their nephews. Whole communities were snatched back then.
Oh yeah.
So, and how can you raise a young man from jail cell? Prison cells is a very hard place to be, and to put yourself, So I say that to say that when it comes down to me being the father of three, and they all boys, I show them love. Yeah, I show them love. I preach love to them. I want them to understand that it's not hard or difficult for me to say I love you each and every day. But did I get that coming up? No. Yeah. That the type of, but we say we want to, change generations and break generational curses. We set these traditions, and we set these certain things in place to prepare ourselves for these things, and we hope that the next generation will do the exact same thing and push us forward to be a better generation.
Exactly.
But it has to start somewhere.
So maybe that's when we will start seeing it, because I think our generation of men are doing that with their children. They are allowing them to feel love, to speak love, to show love. So then maybe their generation will be able to commune with each other. So good job, Blake.
Yeah, but there's a big percentage of young men that don't have that father in their household or in their lives. So, and that percentage is such a large percentage. And that percentage is where we start to see the disconnect in terms of the, accountability on domestic violence, just violence in itself, community, mishap, community misfunctions. We see a decline in education because those particular men don't have the men in their lives to be able to, and you see this emotional emotional scar. I have to call it a scar because it's on their chest. These young men are walking around with these scars on their chest, and they don't even know where the hell they got these scars from, where they came from, how they even get started. But it started from the one factor: you don't have a father in your life, a father that care about you, that father that gonna tell you, to pull them fucking pants up, to watch how you speak to me, watch how you talk to your mother. So that communication can start. Well, there's no disconnect to it, and not on that, but the disconnect with the phones now. I mean, kids can't communicate no more because they're too busy, kid buried. And so that's, that's harder to get to them now. When you try to, they're not coming to no meetings, they're not coming to forums. So when you got to go out and get them, but only can get them, I guess, when you think about it, I guess the only way we can get them is on platforms like this.
Yeah, we're going to have
now to. Now that I think about it, we got to go where they at.
We have to go where they are. Meet them where they're at.
You know what? That's just,
that's
when I think about it.
Yeah, and that's funny when you said that. I remember my husband yelling at my kids all the time. Who you talking to? You ain't talking to my wife like that all the time. So yeah, that's so important. Okay. So this next question is probably more for Lateefa and myself. I'll answer if I can. Because the goal is always to be as honest and transparent as possible within means. But I feel like people resonate with it more when we are just trying to be that open and transparent. But for us, be honest. Has aging made you feel invisible or less desirable ever?
To be honest,
yeah,
I'm more desirable now.
Yeah,
as I'm getting older, I'm like, damn, I'm fine. like, oh, these boobs. Like when I was younger, I didn't think that I was as fine.
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Like, people. The men and the people were like, "Oh man, like you're good looking." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I'm cute." But now, like, I believe it. Like, you don't got to tell me. Like, I already know it.
You walk in the room.
I walk in the room and I know, like, damn, like, girl, you look good. So I feel that now as I'm getting older.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think my experience is different. I agree with you. I think there is I feel like I look better than I did when I was in my 20s. I definitely feel that way. I definitely feel like I am more desirable. But I do feel like I'm a little bit more invisible. Not that I'm not getting complimented, but it doesn't engage into anything. So yeah, you get looked at or you get, but that's the extent of it.
Well, and I don't think I think that's more of how society has become now. Because back in the day, the 90s, 2000, men were approaching.
Oh, they were approaching you for sure.
Now they just look at you. So I don't even think that it's a us thing. I think it's now the society, how things are changing. Men are scared of rejection.
I was going to say they're more afraid of not just rejection. That whole Me Too movement has changed the dynamic for them.
Yeah.
So they don't approach anymore. I didn't think about it until you just said it.
It's when the girls want you just for the money. So they not want to take you out. So I think it's all of the nuances that are coming along with dating that the men are no longer wanting to kind of think, but man, I don't want that headache. That might look like a headache or whatever it is that they feel. I don't know. That's what I think it is.
No, that's a very good theory. Very, very good theory. And it begs the question for people who are like me. And that's probably why women are so more aggressive in this day and age. But for people who like me, who grew up in a different time and age, and I was married for 26 years. So, when dating was happening when I was around, it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
So this whole thing, this aggression and this talking to men, I'm just like, No, ma'am, not me.
No,
so
are you on a dating apps? Any of that stuff?
So I did one just because my friends made me do it on my birthday, but I'm not really on it because I just can't. I don't know.
I'm in engage. It. So I'm in the dating apps. I'm dating. Like I'm in it. And I have my girlfriends. All that kind of stuff. And it's mostly because the men are just.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point. That says they don't
they're taking so many girls out on dates. Definitely on these dating apps. I feel like it gives a false idea that there's so many people available.
So I don't know if you saw my post today. I just released an episode a day or so ago about dating over 50. And one of the clips that I posted today was saying exactly that, because my girlfriend said dating apps gives the illusion that you have more options than you actually have. Because you see this, you like that, you like that. And then you may start talking to them and they do one thing or they don't call you back or whatever. And then you let me go back on the dating app and keep swiping. And then you think you have all these options when you really don't.
And that's the problem. Because you can get on there, you can get 50 likes and all the stuff. And you get. So I think that is where one of our problems are in this new world of dating. And I think the other problem is too, like you said, yes, we're going out on dates, and I understand that the men are paying and they're taking lead, and so trying to find inexpensive ways to date is becoming the hard thing for men as well.
That's a very good point.
Because if they like Susie, Melissa, and 7 other people, and they got to choose out of the 7, they pick 2, and then they got to take 2 out just to kind of feel like that gets expensive after a while, which that's also understandable too. So I think that is the thing, and trying to figure out how to do a balance of that, because I also learned for me too, now that I'm at a point where I'm making a different type of finances for myself, that some of the men are not going to be making the same type of money.
Right, exactly.
And so how do you kind of manage through that as well?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all those different things now and dating.
Part of that that tricycle. Which one you can only go get 2 out of the 3?
When you're in a relationship, you're making conscious decisions.
Conscious decisions based off of what that one of the 3 look like, right? The provider, that financial side.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure that out early, right? Ladies are trying to figure that out early.
100%.
So that makes a difference on how you pick and choose a man.
100%.
So
maybe but the guys are talking. They will talk.
Yeah.
They will, but it's not as fluent as it was in the 90s and 2000s. It's not.
So what's wrong with, and I'm just speaking because I don't know, this is new for me. What's wrong with just trying to learn someone without going on dates? Like talk on the phone for a little while, text back and forth, FaceTime back and forth until you're like, oh, I like this person. Let me go out. Are they not doing that?
We're exhausted.
Oh shit.
We're exhausted. I mean, you're just exhausted because you how many times I have to ask the same question? How was your day? What's new? Tell me something different. What's your favorite color? Those same questions that you have to ask on the dating app or when you first meet a person. Because that's kind of the thing that you're kind of doing on the dating app, right? And if you're not on the dating app and you're just out on the streets, meeting people, yes, it's a different way, but you're trying to maneuver talking to so many different people. And so sometimes you get exhausted. Because it's like,
so what's the purpose of dating?
But you said that you can take on that challenge. The way you just exhausted, I don't see. I don't have that problem. That's what it felt like. So I don't have that problem.
Lord, just tired. I'm like, honestly, I just got back on too because I was off for a whole year.
Okay.
I was off for a whole year because I was.
I'm gonna be honest. When that went on, and it was for fun. It was on my birthday, and we were like, "You should just get on," because I said I was never getting on. And when it happened, it was overwhelming. I was just like, I can't do this. I can't go through all of these people and try to find one out of in a haystack that might be right. I said no. I'm just tired.
The messages, the likes, you can't keep up.
Can't do it. I need something organic. I need to meet you in the grocery store.
That's what it is. It's hard. It's super hard. But I have friends that have been on there and have very good relationships.
I have too.
So that's the reason why I'm like, oh man, like
okay, you're giving me a little bit of hope.
I got friends that like on that. Amazing, have like getting married, like good relationships on it. And then you know, I'm like you, like I want the organicness, but if I also want to be in a certain point in my life with someone, I gotta have all access open.
Yeah, for sure. Know? Okay. But it is a lot. It's tiresome. Does your body image or physical changes like weight gain, menopause, or ED, surgery scars, have they impacted or do you think maybe we don't have any of those things, but do you think they impact someone's sexual confidence?
So I will say this.
And that doesn't mean you have any of those things, but just any of those things can affect someone's social, sexual confidence. And how would you think?
I do think it does, right? But again, if you love yourself, then it doesn't matter. And whoever that person's with you, if they make you, you know, assistant on that, then it's all good. I'm trying to think, like for myself, would I there, even though I'm small, there are still moments in time where I'm like, I won't wear this because I don't like the way it looks on me. You know what I mean? Whereas they look, girl, you're small. What the like that looks good, but I'm still maybe uncomfortable with the way that it looks. You know what I mean? And so yes, there could be times that I'll give a good example. So like I like to wax, right? And if I'm not waxed and I'm, you know, having, you know, here I don't want it because I feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like this isn't sexy. I don't want to get it in with you. So like if I'm not shaved and stuff, like if I'm shaved, if I'm hairy, I feel uncomfortable with getting it in with you.
Being intimate. You're like, no,
yeah,
not today.
Like,
not today.
I got too much going on right here. I need to get this cleaned up. So for you, that's a comfort level.
Yeah, no,
for me
it makes sense
on that part. So that's my thing, you know.
I'm gonna let you speak, Blake, if you want, but I definitely can say for myself, yes. And as much as we try, and as much as I think I am confident and try to exude that confidence, there are times where I'll be like, I put on some weight, and I was like, yeah, he can't see me naked. Not right now. You know what I mean? So that does exist, even though, you know, it may not be as bad as some people may think. It's still that thing or that voice in your head that you have to check. So yeah, I think it does play a little bit. But once you talk to yourself again and check it, you can get it under control. But I don't know if everyone has the ability to manage it. Everyone doesn't have that confidence.
I think we all have our days. I think with anyone, there's some days where like we do the confidence, some days we don't, and certain things that help us to exude the confidence. You know, our hair being done, or we wearing a certain outfit, or the day, or whatever. I think those things help us to exude it because there are days that we don't.
Right.
And I also think it depends on how you grew up in life.
Yeah.
I think that's important because my mom had me when she was young, and so sex and all that stuff was talked about very early in my life.
Really?
Yeah, because my mom had me when she was 13.
So they were preparing you not to do that. Is that what you mean when they were talking to you about
no,
not?
And what, like, she was like, if you had sex, wear a condom. Like,
oh, okay.
She was very, because she was a young mom. So she was very vocal about sex, intimacy, and all that kind of stuff. And even if I didn't think it, well, she was the mother that would be like, girl, you out there, my mom would curse, and she would say, you out there doing what you doing, and with them, she was just that person. She was very open with it. So I just grew up, I think it's also how you grow up. Like, if you grow up in a certain, you know, clothes in house and they're not talking about, you might feel uncomfortable. Like, I have a friend, she was saying that she's small and she wears certain things, but because of the way that she grew up, she will be somewhat uncomfortable that she looks good in it because of the
breeding or not the rearing and those messages that she received as a young person.
Right. Yeah. So I think those things play a part.
Oh, they absolutely play a part.
Yeah. Because then, you know, I don't want to put on, but my mom was very candid with dressing however she liked throughout the house, and in visual, like we saw all of those things. In
My
the house
sister's
of
that
13.
way.
Yeah.
She'll walk around, and I was like, "Girl, your son doesn't need to see you naked."
Like, no, it was like we're all, you know. I got a best friend. She'll be naked to this day. She called me FaceTime butt naked. I'm like, girl, but that's
because she's so comfortable with that.
Yeah,
my sister is the same way. I'm not that way.
Like, I can have my bra on, you know, and be it. But I think it's the comfort level too of who you are with.
Yeah, and where you get that from. Because me and my sister grew up in the same house. My mom was not like that. My mom had me young, but not that young. My mom had me at 17. So, but it's different. She didn't speak on any of those things. But my mom was open book. If I wanted to ask her questions, she was there to. But she wasn't initiating these conversations. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, and I had all boys in my household. So yeah, my sons, I can't walk around how I want to walk around.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's 13 of us.
Well, my wife, all boys, and she don't care.
Your mom?
No, my wife.
Oh, your wife, really?
Yeah, she has boys, and she will drop it like it's hot right in front of them. It's like, shit, what?
I love it.
Like it ain't nothing. I have to say, I thought it was strange because my mom never did it to us, but
oh my God.
I said that my boys are, you know, I mean, our oldest is 18 now. He's off in college, but I have to say, shit, his whole life, he's seen them big old jugs, and
oh
like,
my
shit, it
God.
is what it is. Like,
let me tell y'all a story about my second child. He was probably about 7 or 8. No, he was younger than that. He might have been like 4 or 5. I think I just came out the bathroom. So I was in my room getting dressed, but the door wasn't closed. He walked by. He said, "Oh, Ma, don't nobody want to see that?" I said, "Your daddy." But it's so funny. Yeah, no, my kids are not that way. Drop it like it hot. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Blake's wife because my sons are not having it.
I think it's more so because I see things different, and to each his own, and we all are different people and come from different walks in life. My dad was somewhat of a cocaine cowboy. He did whatever he wanted to do. He lived his life. At some point, he thought he was a pimp. Some point, he thought he, you know, was a chef. Some point, he thought he was, you know, like I said, a cocaine cowboy. Mm-hmm. So I saw things differently. My vision, and it's why the name of the company is Blake Vision. I saw a lot of things in life and saw things differently, and the way my approach to sexuality and sex and was different. It was forced upon me based off of a birthday gift. So it was a weird situation, but
That's not the first time I've heard that.
But it started like that, and then just the community growing up, you know, the west side of Atlanta, before my east side, so don't hurt me on my east side fam. I only speak of the west because that's where we started at. That was our first stomping ground. But on the west side of Atlanta, starting elementary school and just really trying to find my way, them young ladies on that side of town was very promiscuous at a very young age.
Wow.
And it started. So when
you say young, what's young?
I don't know. I mean, it was young.
Like, because we're all saying age, so I want to know, because that means, you know, because young to me, when you say that, is 12.
We can go 4 years, low 7.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was. So my lens started to perceive women, because my like for women was older women, because I was dealing with older women. Mm-hmm. So
was that how you was introduced? Older, yes. It was older women. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was speaking.
So you start to walk and say, hey, well, this is my perception. This is what I think is normal. This is what I think I should be. But so I had to be honest. You know, girls my age couldn't stand. They didn't have a chance in hell with me, because it was just a different type of, you know, vibe with me. I was somewhere different. I saw things differently. My conversation was different because I couldn't have the same young man conversation with, you know, this older woman. So I jumped into a different car seat. I jumped out of that little boy car seat a little bit and jumped into the real seat. And, and when I started to drive, I kind of didn't really look back. So I seen a lot of things. So that's the reason why when y'all was saying, your theory about how mom, you see life through your lens because how mom, taught it to you. You see the same thing. Mine wasn't necessarily taught, but it was what I call the school of, saying.
Oh, it's still taught. Yeah.
School of hard knocks, but the experience and what you pick up from those experiences, have it shaped me, have it mold me, has it defined me in terms of, I know my wants, my dislikes. I know what moves me, what don't move me. I'm confident as a man, but the flip side of when you talked about scarring and do you like yourself or do you feel, I lost an eye in 07 years ago. And and that's when I lost what they consider a member of your body in losing that particular eye. Yes, at that point, as a man, didn't feel desirable at all. Have to, don't think I would have talked about it years ago, but just learning how to heal and just learning how to just be yourself and say, shit, I live 50 years. You said this is 50 and up. I just crossed that line last April. So
all right.
It's like you get to a point where you say it is what it is, So yeah, scarring makes you, and if I look at just me being a guy, and always been confident in myself, even as a young jit. And now when it comes down to what I can, what my motto is, what one man can do, another man can do. So I don't bar none see anything that I don't think I could do. But there's a point where it's like, even with my wife, and I have to say, I think that, there was a point where I think she had to identify and say, am I into him too after getting shot, after the surgery, after the all of the different things that he's
still attractive.
Right. He doesn't have. So the reason why I have the dark boys on, for the fans who don't know, I'm not just trying to be too cool.
Yes, too cool.
So but yeah. I didn't, but then I spoke to myself one day and just speaking to my God like I generally do, and just, me and my God, we speak like homeboys. I mean, so I asked him, I said, hey man, if this was in the books and this was already planned, then I guess there ain't much I can do about it. I guess I need to suck it up and just keep on moving.
Embrace it.
Yeah, because and I just look at different things that happen in life on this side and the different scars that happen for me to say, man, sometimes I say God got a sense of humor. I say, man, you've been trying to take this damn eye for a minute, man. I just had to ask myself that,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if that was the case, all right, well, cool. It's gone now. We made that decision. Let's move on.
And did you ever feel unattractive? Did your wife ever say that she felt like you was unattractive after you lost your eye?
No, she wouldn't. I don't, just because of who she is, I don't think she would ever say that to me personally.
I think it was all in.
I just think that as a man, there's a look a woman gives you, and there's a look that and you can tell when it's genuine. You can tell when it's just there. It's there, it's something still there in the heart. But and then there's a time when you can look at that woman and you be like, God damn. I don't see you no more. I don't know who that is no more. So what do you do then? But I say that to say that I had to question myself and say, is it me? Because of my discomfort, because of my lack of confidence at this moment, am I throwing, I guess, gas on the fire?
Yeah.
Am I doing something to make that happen because of what I'm, how I'm feeling inside? Because sometimes, men can do that. We don't know how to lash out. We don't know how to speak what's on our mind. So we retaliate, but we retaliate differently. And we don't even know we're doing it.
Yeah. No,
so I had to check myself and say, man, get your ass about that slump and feel it. We you the shit, man. It's just about how your swag is. You always been the best dressed. You did what you do. do what you do, man. Keep moving. You know, and that is, I want to answer that question because I understand, but I know women have more challenges when it comes down to them identifying scars, when you use that word scars. So for me to have a genuine scar, physical scar, mental scar, but I had to say,
no, I'm glad you made us go back, Blake.
Yeah,
I'm glad you made us go back because that was
get
important.
over that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most men or most people are dealing with weight.
Right.
Or dealing with scars. Like,
from birth. I mean, all type of things that women go through.
Totally
cancer,
totally different.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
And I think another thing that they're not talking about, and we probably can't speak to it, but maybe we'll talk about it on Saturday. Maybe there'll be someone in the audience that's brave enough. Again, it'll be a safe space, but that's brave enough to speak on it. But men who deal with ED and how it affects their confidence. You know what I mean? Because that's a real thing. And if you're not with someone in a relationship, long-term relationship, and you're out here dating, can you imagine having to that be part of your explanations, or finding someone who is loving, someone who is going to create safe space for you to talk about that, explain that, and figure out different ways for you guys to enjoy each other. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's one we could probably delve into. I will delve into on Saturday.
Well, I'll leave that for Saturday then.
Yeah, leave that for Saturday, Blake.
I won't speak on that.
What I also want to bring up, and I want this to be a poll. I'll do a poll about this. I am curious to know how many men engaged in sex at an early age with older women. How many men feel that actually happened to feel that they were okay, that nothing was wrong with it, and how many men feel like that they were taken advantage of? And I say that, and we'll do a poll on that because I know many men who engaged in sex before their time with an older woman, and at the time they probably didn't think that they think they were the man. I know some men thought, I'm the man, I had sex with this older woman, but and how many really felt like they were molested, and what it did to their rearing, their psyche, their look on life and sex. I'm really, really curious. We'll do a poll on that. So I just want to make sure I said that on camera. So we're going to skip the compatibility because we did talk about that. We talked about love languages and all of that. So I want to move on because
I will say that the compatibility for me would be lifestyle.
Lifestyle is important as well as the languages. Yeah. And I'll say lifestyle, languages, and finances. And I'm not saying that because I think you need to be rich, but I'm saying we have to complement each other. You have to be, especially at my age now, I'm 53. We have to be at a certain place. I'm not in the place of building anymore with someone like that. So that's just, so I don't want men to come for me. I'm not saying that. I am saying, I'm at a place where I'm not building with you anymore. So we need to be at a comfortable space.
Yeah. My 3 things, me and my friends argue about this. It's 3 things that you need to have in the beginning of the date with me. And that's a car, a job, and a place. And that's not hard, but it is.
Is it?
It is. And I could tell you a story.
Men. And women, if you just, because men do it too.
The job could be whatever the job is. No one's tripping. The place could be whatever. It could be whatever it is, just by yourself, not with your homies, whatever. And a car. And
at our age,
could be whatever it is. It don't matter. It's just those 3 basic things, and sometimes it's not that easy.
Do you want to comment on this before we go on, Blake?
For men?
No, just period.
For girl, like, is it 3 things for, or anything with a girl, like?
3. Well, that's interesting, but I'm what I will have to say that I think for us, we have a tendency to like dysfunction. I don't want to call it
dysfunction.
because of the sense of excitement, I think that pushes when we can see boring. And so I guess I'm trying to figure out the way to say the three, but somehow I'm telling the lesson here. Boring is simplicity. Simplicity can be good for those who like continuity. But for the men who strive for excitement, strive for spontaneity, if he can't see it in the person at the beginning or somewhere in that relationship, if it's not there, then it was doomed from the beginning. So I guess you got to be able to give certain things, and that person has to see that. And a lot of women are what we call, and it was just the way that women was brought up back in the day, where they put their church girl, persona on. So brothers don't see a lot and not realize it in the beginning because of the persona that is always, is given to us at the beginning. And then it's like, oh, but then once the brother do realize or find that particular girl that he do like, you realize some of these brothers go stupid Dumbo over these young ladies because it's hard to find what they, especially if it's within that, if it's within that strike zone and you're actually metering up, meaning that you're higher on his mark or whatever that chart was, it's hard for him to let that person go. And then that's when the relationship seems to be somewhere, at early stages where the arguments are early, the toxic side of things, because the men don't know how to respond and say, damn, it's that about you that really gets me. But, and I can't find it in every young lady because every young lady is different, and every young lady won't bring certain things to the table. So that's where the connection happens, but where it can be a quick disconnect. Yeah. If somebody is giving a certain way and the other party enjoys that but can't receive it because that party starts to either move on, walk away, or likes to entertain multiple people, it can become a problem because when you like that and you want that, most men don't want nobody else to have that. That's just the bottom line. So I'm telling y'all like it is. If he likes that, most men
you can't get there if you don't have a job card to play.
And see, you got, so you got those standards, but I guess, outside looking in and not necessarily dating, I can't say how does that work for me at this time. My younger days, I was, my perception of life was totally different, so I can't use that in terms of me for me to say I can't really use what I think, what I like back then and how, but I did have, I still stand to these rules. I got a 3 strike rule. If something is happening and we're trying to move forward in a relationship or something, whatnot, and we get to that 3-3, I'm done. I'm quick to move on after that. So that's the only disadvantage that most women won't get with me is that, I give you 3 chances. Other than that, all right, we ain't gonna do this no more.